Broke business websites versus pro sites. I'll say that again. Broke, or you could say broken, business websites versus pro, which is professional business websites. Today is a great day to have a great conversation about this. And a lot of people don't know how to fix problems on their website that they may have been having for a long time. And this is not the time to be guessing. We don't have time to guess. If you want to guess, that's great. But if you want to figure it out and save your time, money, and energy, then here's where you want to be. So thank you for being here and being part of today's conversation. I'm excited that we're going to be talking about websites and how websites should be working and how they have been working for a long time. But if you haven't been working the platform, now is the time for you to do so. So we want to make sure we can talk about this today and do it in a very special way so that you're not missing the road, you're not missing the bus, you're not missing the train, you're definitely not missing anything that's supposed to be important for you to know. And if you are not aware about your website and what is going on your website, there are websites that you can use. I'll give you two that you can actually check for yourself. I don't need to check them for you. If you want me to check them for you, great. But if you want to check them for yourself, fine. One website is called siteliner.com, SITELINER.com. Another website is gtmetrics.com, GTMETRIX.com. These two websites will tell you about your website. The Siteliner will tell you about the number of pages you have, what is broken, what is duplicated, what is normal. And then GTmetrics is going to tell you about your speed based on how many pages you have that loads within, I can call it an average time, and you'll be graded. And that grade will tell you, okay, you have a C grade, you have an F grade, you have an A grade, and that will tell you exactly what's going on here. So we're going to talk about this today for about an hour. And if you're listening to me for the first time, my name is Favor Obasi-Ike, and I've been on Clubhouse for the last 6 years. It's going to be 6 years officially this November 24th, 2026. And I've been here constantly connecting with people, talking about how your website can actually generate traffic, leads, sales, and revenue that your business doesn't need to run ads on consistently to spend money to make money, which you can, but you can earn money by saving money when you're able to use your website organically for the right reasons. So we're going to talk about this today and show you the differences between a broke website and a pro website. This is going to be very interesting. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand, put it in the chat, and that way you can talk about all these things and make sure that you have a very important discussion that you can be able to do long-term for your business, but you can also do it in a way that can help you understand where you're going, what you're doing, and how can you do it in the best way to now create more abilities for yourself too. So I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys. And if you have any questions, put in the chat. Let me know, or come up on stage if you have a question, do that too. So we're going to make sure that this room is in a very sequential way so that you don't have any questions unanswered, because I know a lot of people may have questions. And if you have a question, now is the time to ask that question. So this is where you want to be more situated as a business by being more intentional about where you want to go. So we're going to talk about this today, and there are very many things that we're going to discover so that your business does not get convoluted, it doesn't get stressed out, it doesn't get connected to the wrong sources, and you're able to do it in the right way to help a lot of businesses. I've been doing this for a long time, and I feel like talking about these two types of websites are important so that you can decide for yourself, what do you really want, or what do you feel like you really need? I'm not going to tell you what you want. I'm not going to tell you you should do this, you should do that. It's all up to you. But the information that you get, you decide what you want to do with that information. So we're going to talk about this today. What's up, El Kahil? Thank you for being here. El Khalil, Chimene, Nia, Mozart, Jane, 67th. Welcome to Clubhouse. I see you with a party hat. Peter, thank you for being here too. And it's a great honor and a pleasure to share this space with you today. So we're going to bring this discussion to a really top high level space, or even I can call it a base, so that if you're thinking about your website and where you want to be, then these are the decisions that you have to ask yourself. Okay, are we going to do these things in the right way, or are we going to do them the wrong way? So let me tell you what a broke business website looks like. We're going to start off with this, and then I'll compare to a professional business website. So the first thing is a broken or broke business website is it's going to be very interesting. The first thing that I could tell you is that when you have a website, if your website is broke, it means that you have not considered or decided to implement a checklist. That's the first thing. You can have a mental checklist and do them, or you can actually have a physical or digital checklist and do it. And this is not just a checklist to check it off the list. It's to have a checklist that allows you to decide and ask yourself, what have I missed? What have I not missed? Now, you can divide this checklist into an on-page, off-page, technical, and local SEO. I'll just give you guys the basic ones. Of course, there are about 40 types of SEO, but these 4 are your biggest concerns. I'll give you guys some stats, and you please do your research while I'm telling you this, because I love to do my research, so please do yours too. There's a reason why websites don't work. And about 70% of website ranking problems aren't caused by content, because everyone now can do content, right? You can do ChatGPT, you can create blogs, you can do all these things. But 70% of websites have problems with ranking, not because of content, but because of technical SEO. Now, what is technical SEO? It's just another way of saying that you have, I'm going to use another word instead of technical, but you have parameters that you need to meet. You have eligibility requirements that you have to fix and actually attain that allow you to become at a standard within a golden standard of a website or a search engine that matches your type of website base. I'll give you an example. If your website is slow, right? Because if you go to like a website like serpapi.com, SERPAPI.com, this website will tell you explicitly that this, like coffee, for example, would load less than a second, right? If you type in now some type of service, it may load a little bit more than a second. But if you have anything that is below 2.5 seconds, you're in good shape. But if your page loads over 2.5 seconds, if you take 5 seconds to load one page, then that's a problem, because now your pages are not loading up the right way they're supposed to. Not because your websites are bad, but because you don't have the right technical ability to make that website retain people to actually stay on your site for a long time. And that's where changes like this have to be taking place to make sure that you don't have these issues, right? Because if 70% of websites are not ranking because of technical setups, that's because their pages may not be loading fast. They may have broken links. They may have duplicate tags. They may have a wrong canonical tag. They may have server errors. They might have things that are not supposed to be there that are not there. Crawling may have an issue. Your crawl budget might be limited. These are things that we may kind of see and not notice, but realize when it's time to actually make a change that we shouldn't have known before. And we want to make sure that we can do these things in a good way, in a way that allows you to understand how it works. And if it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, great. But at the end of the day, it's going to work for you, because whatever is important needs to be addressed. You can't unaddress or not address something that is not important, right? So if it's important, you have to think about it and ask yourself, okay, have I done this? Are my pages working? Are they all loading? Do I have any 404 errors? Do I have any broken links? Do I have anything that is going to put me in a position where I can't be able to be myself, right? So we have to think about these things long term and ask ourselves the right questions. Good to see you here, Luan, Bella. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. And Marwa as well. So you create the rationale between having a space. Appreciate the love, y'all. Thank you. When you have a website, you have to think about having a checklist, right? Either you download a checklist from a web page, or you buy it on Amazon, or you find it on an Airtable, or you create one for yourself with AI and say, hey, how do I do a checklist? Do it on your own or get a professional to do it for you. And the idea of having a checklist is so that you can check off the boxes, right? You want to make sure that you're not missing on anything so that it's not hard for you to rank. Because as I'm speaking to you today, I think this was today or yesterday, that Google Search Console has introduced something called social profiles, which means you can now use Google Search Console to connect and also merge your social profiles, whether it's LinkedIn, X, Instagram, YouTube. Is going to come to a point now that your social media is also going to be indirectly, or I can even say directly, proportional to the way you're going to be showing up on Google. So if somebody has a business, let's say you have a bakery, and in that bakery, you have social media posts that go out every week talking about the latest flavors in town, or here's our special for the weekend. And people know, okay, every Tuesday or every Wednesday, we have half off for our cookies, something like that. If somebody's going to look for that on Google and they're in the city and your business is also part of that parameter that they're searching with, then that's how your business can also gain more attention, because they call it social media updates. So social media and search engines are now coming together. So before we used to say, oh, we don't need a website. Oh, we don't need social media. Oh, we don't need email. You need all three. Because if your website is bad, if your social media is great and your email is trash, then something's not going to work, because something's going to break at some point. You want to send the good emails. You want to have low risk. You want to be able to be compliant. That way, when you send out emails with Flowdesk or MailChimp or Breville or whatever you use, then you can send out emails knowing that you're going to get high open rates, high click rates, high click-through rates, and things that allow you to gain more stability and organized structure within your site. So think about having a checklist. A professional business website has gone through a checklist. When it comes to the site architecture, that's another thing. When you look at your website, if it's a broke business website, there's no structure. There's no structure. Just to think about an unfinished home or an unfinished house, right? Let's say you're crossing a road, or you're driving through a street and you realize that this house has no roof. This house has no windows. I was watching a body cam yesterday, and this car there was no, the back of the car where you can see the glass at the back of the car was gone. It's still a car, you can still drive it, but if it rains, your back seats are going to be wet. If it's hot, anything can come in there. You can get mosquitoes, you can get flies, you can get birds flying in and out, because there's no structure. You may look like a complete house, quote unquote, but there's something missing, there's something broken. When there's a crack or when there's a leak, you got to fix it, because that leak can turn into a flood. So when you think about having a website, your site architecture has to be top notch. It has to be top notch. And what do I mean by site architecture? I mean that your pages have to load fast. We've talked about that. At the same time, your pages need to also have destinations. You can't have 3 pages saying /about, /copy -about, or /about -1. That's not going to fly, because your URL is a uniform resource locator, and your URL is supposed to take someone to a destination. If I go to your website and I see your website is .this, but the / is missing, or the / is maybe even having a typo, that's a problem, because these things are important to have. This is your inventory. You don't want to mess around with that. Site architecture is important. Have a home page, have an about page, have a product page, have a category page, have a post page, have a tag page, have a contact page, have a privacy policy page, have an FAQ page, have a glossary page if you want those things. But those things have to be there. Some of them are optional, some of them are mandatory. You can't have a website without a home page, because the first page somebody lands is your home page every time. If you go to google.com, you're going to land on the homepage. The homepage of google.com is a search operating engine. So when you start thinking about these things long term, your question should be, do I have a site, a website that is professional, or is it broken? Is it a broke site, or is it a pro site? It's up to you to decide, because these websites are going to be there forever. There are 1.1 billion websites, and every day somebody's website goes down, somebody else's website goes up. So you have to decide, what kind of website do you want to have? I was just talking to a client earlier today, and she mentioned to me that this is before she's been listening to me for a long time. And she said that she got hacked. Her website got hacked. And when it got hacked, it's now turned into a gambling site. So when I saw it, I was like, your name does not match this. Like, you do photography, you do weddings. So why am I seeing gambling on your site? Then that's when she told me that it was hacked. And I was like, oh, okay. Now that it's been hacked, we need to fix that because we can't build anything on a terrible foundation. It's just going to get worse. So for us to avoid the potential of getting worse, we need to fix what's happening currently. So that's what we're working on right now to start getting that fixed before we start building or scaling. So when you have a site, the architectural setup of your site is important. Why is this important? Because everything matters behind the website. Yes, it may look pretty on the outside, but it may look ugly on the inside. It's like you can have a great body, great features, great everything. People look at you like, wow, okay, yada, 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 whatever. But if they look at the content of your heart and your character is terrible and you can't even have a conversation, they're not even going to look at your beauty anymore because what you're speaking is pretty much polluting your outward appearance. Even God looks at the inward appearance beyond the outward appearance. So we can't judge a book by its cover because the cover can look pretty on the outside but terrible on the inside. That's the same thing with your website. We're working with a client right now that they have two links, they have two domains, TLDs, top level domains. One of them is supposed to be a .com, the sub one is supposed to be a .net. Now the .net is what is turning into the .com because now there's a 301 redirect that has been fixed or not fixed. Now we can't even figure out which is which. So we want to understand, how are we going to fix this, right? Because someone is going to come in from one angle, someone else is going to come from another angle. How do we take these things to the next level and not have issues? So your website, and why I'm saying this is because your website needs to have a strong backing. I was with a business yesterday where we were talking to one of the presidents of a company yesterday, and he was asking about how can they own their own hosting because they're paying a third-party platform or a third-party business organization to control everything that's on their website, which is not even doing well. That's why we're stepping in. And I said, instead of you guys paying management fees to somebody who is managing your website, why can't you guys just pay for your own website hosting and have it at your own advantage, at your own disposal? Then you paying somebody a management fee that you could have been saving that money to run ads with, or saving that money for some type of investment or going to payroll. So these are very important questions we need to ask ourselves. How do we take what we have and build it in a way that allows people to see, okay, this person actually cares. This person actually sees my value. This person actually knows what's the problem or what the problem is. So we can't just think about our website and say, oh, our website is great, it's working. And then I look at it online. I go to nslookup.io, and I realize that there's some things that are missing. There's some tags that are missing. There's some things that are not there. If I go to a website like host.io and I now check, I notice some things are missing. These are free websites I'm telling you to check for yourself. But if I send you an audit, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm explaining in visual mode, because you'll be able to now see, okay, something is wrong here. We need to fix this. We need to fix that. So you may not need a website today, but you're definitely going to need a website if you have a business. If you're going to ask for a loan, if you're going to ask for grants, if you're going to do any type of partnership or any type of business venture, you'll need a website, because you can't give somebody your LinkedIn and not have a website attached to that LinkedIn company profile. It's either going to be a link tree or some other type of link or your website. And you don't want it to go to a link tree or another website that doesn't have your website attached. So these are things that are to keep in mind, because if you really think about it, right, and I'm sure you're probably listening and you're like, maybe, I'm not sure, but listen to this. If you put a link tree link, and that link tree link is, let's say, on your LinkedIn account or your Instagram account, what you're technically doing is that you're helping Linktree or you're helping another type of link to get a backlink from that source. It may be a no-follow link. It may be a do-follow link, depending on what the attributes are. But at the end of the day, those links that you're putting there are going to change everything about how your website is going to be looking on the outside. If you have a podcast and that podcast has links to your website. It has links, category pages, tag pages, blog pages, your website page, and you have hundreds of episodes. And each episode has your show notes, and in those show notes has links to your website. Trust me, every time your website goes out or your podcast goes live or your episode goes to the different distribution channels, you're going to be seeing yourself in a way that your website will also be gaining more traffic. Because I did a calculation. Every year, domain authority usually ranges from at the very least 7 points per year. It can be more than that. It can be less than that. But I've seen that if you have a new website and your domain is at domain 1, or let's say your domain authority is at a 1, by this time next year, you could be at an 8. By this time in 2 years, you could be at 15. If you look at a website like TikTok.com, I know we know about TikTok. TikTok first came out 2016. I used to be on it when it was called Musical.ly, and it changed from Musical.ly to TikTok. But that's 10 years. That was 2016. We're in 2026. So that's 10 years. But guess what? The actual TikTok.com website was first registered as a domain in 1996. That was 30 years ago. So you tell me how you expect to average or go against the grain when you're thinking about your business when you don't have these domains connected or even attached. So your website has to definitely think about all these things. You need to have a good hosting. You need to have a good website. You need to have a good domain. So these are things that you want to think about long term and ask yourself, where are we going with this information? How are we building it and where are we going with it? If we don't do it today, someone else is going to do it for you or something else is going to happen. So we want to make sure that we're not making these mistakes or putting ourselves in these things as well. What's up, Rocky? Rocky got a hot mic. And I just saw your text as well. No problem. Thanks for letting me know in the message in the chat. But yeah, guys, if you have a question, please put it in the chat. Let me know, raise your hand, and we can talk about these things as well. Because your website is what people are going to see. Your website is what people are going to understand. And a broke website is a broke website because business-wise, you're not being seen online. You're not being seen at all. And that takes time, especially if you have a new website, because a lot of businesses have new websites. It takes time. And you have to trust the process. A lot of us just want to go. And I'm like, nah, wait. Just chill, relax, don't force it. Let it breathe, give it time. Don't just push the button and say, oh yeah, we're just gonna make this thing go. No, it's gonna take a while to build. But if you're willing to take that time to watch it grow, you'll be happy. Like for me, with my website, I noticed playinc.online, we have a domain authority that ranges between 40 and 50, right? By this time last year, it was in the 20 to 30 range. So I know by this time next year, God willing, is going to be within the 50 to 60 range because my average positioning on the search console is between 11 and 20. And usually that's like the bottom of the top of the second page and the bottom of the second page or the top of the third page. So when you start looking at these things, you start asking yourselves, okay, if this is going to be the average positioning, how do I shift it from 1 to 2? How do I shift it from 3 to 4? So your question should be, how are you taking your business to the next level? Welcome, Yabo. Good to see you. When you have connections long term, then your business is going to gain more traction over time if you focus on the architectural setup of your website. And that requires you to have the right domain, which you own, which you bought for a year, for 3 years, for 5 years, for 10 years, or you bought it, or I would say you bought it or you bought it from someone else, but you're buying that domain as yours, right? When you buy that domain, your domain is connected to a hosting platform. That hosting platform is where you're going to have all your records, your DNS records. Your DNS stands for Domain Name Server or Domain Name System. That's just another way of saying what is the nervous breakdown or the nervous system of your website looking like. Because you're going to have A records, you're going to have NS records, which is name server records. You have MX records, which is mail exchange records. You're going to have CNAME records, which is your canonical name records. These are records that your website is going to be pinging off and sending signals to and fro. because that will allow you to know how well and equipped your website is going to be for the possibility of getting noticed, right? When you connect your website to the Search Console, Google Search Console, they're telling you put your TXT, copy this TXT and put it into your website DNS server. Now, when you put this TXT record, it's pretty much a Google verification tag, and it's identical to your website, but it's unique to you. Not you. I mean, think about it. We all have different DNAs. Even twins, fraternal twins or identical twins have completely different DNAs, right? They're not going to have the same fingerprint. So when you think about your business has a specific, unique fingerprint on the websites that people are connecting with. And when someone is searching for your site or searching for your page, the things that they're looking for are going to be potentially connected to what you put in. Garbage in, garbage out. Value in, value out. It's up to you. So when you think about a website, don't just think about your website and say, oh yeah, my website is live, or it's loading, or it's great. Is it? How do you know? If you know, tell me why. So these are things that you want to think about long term, and don't just ignore yourself or ignore the website, because there's some websites I've seen there that say copyright 2020, copyright 2024. And those things are a big damage to your reputation, because I would say it kind of means, even if it doesn't mean that way, but partially it could actually mean that your business is not active, right? You can be saying, okay, my business was, I can say my business was, incorporated in 1998. For example, you don't want to see 1998 on your website copyright. You want to see 1998 through 2026. An example is GoDaddy. If you go to GoDaddy.com, they're going to tell you 1996-2026. So you know, okay, this business has been here for 30 years. No one has to tell you the math, because you can see it for yourself. So you can decide to either do copyright current year or copyright date of incorporation through current year. So that way you're able to really see where your business is going to and how you're able to take that to the next level. So don't give up on yourself. Don't put things in the back burner. Don't be oblivious to these things, because these things are the very same things that are going to haunt you or haunt your business. And you don't want that at all. So you want to make sure that your website is gaining traffic consistently by building a structure that can actually be scalable. So that's something to think about too, right? Another thing outside of your checklist, and these are also things part of your checklist, but I just want to voice them out so that you can also get to hear about this too. Your images, your titles, and your descriptions, especially your URLs, which is your uniform resource locator, is so important, because that's going to be I can call it the cornerstone of your website, because anything that you put in that title, in that description, meta description, in that URL, in that image, is going to change how people view you. So if you think about your business today, and there are things about your business that needs that type of visibility, then you need to ask yourself, what is on my website? If I'm based in Hawaii, how are people in Hawaii going to find me? If I'm based in Idaho, how are people in Idaho going to find me? I'm based in Houston, Texas. How are people going to find me here? If somebody's outside the city, outside the state, outside the country, how will they find me? It's going to be based on your titles. It's going to be based on your descriptions. It's going to be definitely based on your URLs, because people are going to find those URLs and then they'll be like, okay, that's your URL. Fine. It's worldwideweb.domain.com or anything else that you put. So when you start thinking about these things, it changes everything. Your titles are important. You need to think about your titles being between 50 to 60 characters with spaces. Your descriptions need to be between 150 to 160 characters with spaces. It could be less, it could be more, but just know that you're also dealing with pixels, right? Pixels matter. A capital W has a different size from a small w. A capital U has a difference between a small u. A capital L is different from a small l. If you send an email, try this out. I'm actually giving you a practical example. Send it to yourself. Don't send it to somebody. But write an email to yourself and then put all the words in caps lock. Then send the same email to yourself in another thread and then put all small caps. You're going to notice something. The size of that email is going to change because of what you're putting into that email. So when you have a title, when you have a description, there's a limit. They call them SEO limits that you have on your website that someone is going to see. And if Google sees that, okay, you have 529 pixels, that means you have X number of characters with spaces, then you can show up on Google for a reason, because that allows you to now show up for that particular search term, right? So if you have a search description, or I can say a meta description that is search intent based, and I'm looking for a plumber near me, and you're a plumber, or I have a plumbing business, then how will they find me credible if I'm literally 5 miles away, but you couldn't find me because I was not accessible on the web? It's important to think about that too. Shaq says, and if you have a local business, it's important to optimize your search engine profiles. Exactly. That's what we're talking about here today. Because when you have a business local wise, somebody's going to find your business in a way that can actually connect you to those sources. You can't just be guessing. You can't be guessing. You don't guess your business. You don't guess your name. You don't guess your age. You know what it is. You know your birthday. No one's going to tell you what it is. You know it. You don't even need to Google that. So the same way someone should not guess your business or guess what your business is about is the same way you should take that seriously too. So your business is literally what people are going to use to find and validate you. Use, find, validate. Use, find, validate. There's a circle of life that I put one day. This was a long time ago, and I'll tell you guys what it is. It is search, find, click, save. I'll say it again. Search, find, click, save. If you can go through that circle successfully and do it in a way that is sequential and is scalable, then yes, someone can easily find your content online and connect it back to the source. You can't have a website and not have social media icons connected, or not have your meta pixel connected, or not have your social profile showing up within the social icon, because that icon that you see there is not just an icon that is connected. It's an external link. You need to have your links there. They're internal links and external links. So when you have external links, people know, okay, your link is taking them to your LinkedIn. From LinkedIn, they're taking them back to your website. You're creating bridges online that people can find you for. Don't guess these things. And if you don't know about them, ask somebody, right? Ask me, ask somebody you know, ask a professional. Just ask. Don't ask yourself if you don't know the answer. So if you are looking for a website that is a business, high profile type of website, then you have to start thinking about how to make your website professional. Another thing to note, which is so important here, outside of your images, your titles, your descriptions, and your URLs, is also your sitemap and your robots. I'm going to coin these two together. A sitemap is technically a roadmap of your website across search engines. I also call it the brain of your website, because if that sitemap does not have the right links in place, it's going to be hard for indexing to take place, right? Because there are 4 levels, right? There is search, find, click, save that I mentioned. And then you also have submission for indexing. Then you have crawling. Then you have rendering. And then you have ranking, right? When you index something, it means you're putting it into a file. A lot of websites I look at these days have links on links on links on links. But when I now look at the links on Google, I don't see the same thing. I'll give you an instance. Let's say you have 100 links on your website. 100 links. You have 100 links on your website. And now with this 100 links on your website, I go to Google and I type in SITE : that site. And then without your www, just put your domain there and say, okay, my website is site : playinc.online or nike.com or cnn.com, whatever it is that you're looking for. And then hit the search bar, hit enter, and look at the results that you see. Let's say you have 100 links on your website, but maybe 10% of that is indexed. You ask yourself, what happened to the other 90? The problem is your website is partially indexed and it's not fully indexed. We have manual indexing, we have automatic indexing. So If your indexing is not even manual to begin with, then how are you going to move? Just like we used to drive stick shifts back in the day, and now we have automatic cars. Now we have selfless driving cars. Now we have electric cars. Before we just had gas cars. And I'm sure in the future, God knows, we could have hydrogen cars. So how do you know what you're going to do with your website if you don't even know what's happening to begin with? So think about these things and ask yourself, what is my website doing? Am I gaining all these things? Yes. If I am, how? And then on top of that, your website, the fact that you have a lot of links it's not a green card for you. It's not a green flag. It could be, but it becomes a yellow flag or even a red flag when those pages start becoming obsolete. Because when you have a page, the date that you publish that page, that's day one of activity. And there are 2 dates on your website. Some people would have 1, but you're supposed to have 2. The first date is your date of published, or I can call it date published. The second one is date modified. That's the second one. So if you have date published and you have date modified, then you have these 2 dates to now tell the search engines or the search crawlers or the search bots that you have information that has been updated for recent times. So when you think about your website today and you don't have these things, it's so important to factor these things in, because you can't ignore these signs. You can't ignore these things. So don't just think about your website and say, oh, I have a website, it's working. Yeah, it's working, but is it ranking? Is it accessible? Is it rankable? Is it searchable? Is it findable? Is it anything able? That's one thing to ask yourself. And the answer falls in line with the answer that you tell yourself. But you need to tell yourself the truth, right? Some people say, oh, I have this problem, but I can't fix it because I don't have the money to pay for it. Well, it becomes a problem until it's fixed. If it's not a priority for you, that's fine too. Nobody's forcing you to have a website. Nobody's forcing you to own a business. But if you want to take these things seriously and you want people to take you seriously as well, then the things that you need to take seriously need to be done in a mandatory way that allows you to be investing in the future, so that you can save yourself from the stress later on. So think about your website in this way, because you have a sitemap, you have robots tags, and a lot of websites have the wrong robots tags. I'll tell you what a robots tag is, or what a robots file is. Robots.txt is a text file. If you ever have a website on Wix, WordPress, Squarespace, Shopify, Tilda, Duda, Magento, I'm just giving you guys different website builders. There are many out there, and you're probably one of them. When you have a website, you're going to have a sitemap, which is going to be sitemap.xml. How do you know this? Just go to your search browser or your tab, open a new tab, and then type in your domain.com or .co.org, .net, .gov, .edu, anything that you have, .ai, .expert, .online. And then after you're done with your domain, hit a / sitemap, sitemap.xml, and then hit enter. You're going to see your sitemap. Now, if you want to know what your robots is, do the same thing, / robots.txt. Now, you're going to notice some things there. Those 2 are going to give you, I can say, black ink text. Of course, it's on a digital screen, but it's not going to be blue links. It's going to be black text, because this is what is being printed from the back end of a site, right? And when you don't have these things in place, if they're not connected, you may think that it's not important until something happens and you're like, okay, maybe it actually is. Because your sitemap is where everything comes from. You have your page sitemap, you have your post sitemap, you have your category sitemap, you have your tag sitemap, you have your author sitemap, you have your events sitemap. You have a lot of sitemaps in there, because those sitemaps or sub sitemaps or child sitemaps are going to affect the parent sitemap. Because if you're searching on Google for something, the reason why you can find it so accessibly on the internet is because someone somewhere took the time to actually make it available to you, because they adhered to the eligibility requirements to allow you to actually functionally find this thing online. It takes time to build these things, but if you don't know, ask the question, or ask, is there anything I'm missing? And then they'll tell you, oh, you're missing this, or you're missing this, or you're missing that. These are the things that you have to think about, right? Because a robots file is supposed to tell you how your website is actually giving the rules to the bots. If you have a rule book and here's a manual of how to drive this car, if there's no manual, how are you going to set this thing up? Let's say you're setting up a vase or a barbecue stand, or you're setting up a TV stand, or setting up whatever it is that you want to set up. There's a manual to it. If you're putting a desk together and you got to move the parts together, you got to screw things, you got to chop and screw things, then you're going to know exactly how much you need to do to make sure that this thing does not break or it doesn't fall, it doesn't falter. So your robot is supposed to tell explicit instructions to the search business or the search engines to say, hey, this is my business and I would like Claude to rank this or allow this page and not allow this page. Or I don't want Gemini to read this information, but I want it to search for it. These are parameters that you have to set, and they're available, they're accessible. And big websites that you visit today, they have these things. You just don't know that because you don't have to go there. Your goal is just to show up, read the text, click the link, buy the product, save whatever you need to have, bookmark it, and go. But on the back end, the technical thing is important. That's why I said earlier that 70% of websites have a technical problem. They don't have a content problem, they have a technical problem. And the sooner you get to realize what the technical problem is and fix it, the better your website can actually rank online for the right reasons. John, we'd love to hear from you. Good afternoon. What are your thoughts on the topic? When you look at a website, just from a consumer standpoint, how will you know whether this website is looking good, doing well, or not doing well?
As a consumer, I spend most of my time checking out websites that are advertising related. And I'll just give you a little point of a reference. If they look scammy to me, I'm not giving them any money. If they look like they're second rate, I'm not giving them any money because it reeks of scam, and they're not going to deliver as promised. So if you put up content that looks second rate, expect second rate results, if any at all. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you, John. That's a good one. Second rate. Yeah, if it looks scammy, you got to run. You got to run. Forrest Gump, run. Because it is not a pretty thing to be on a site that is going to waste your time, your energy, and even your eyes. Because you don't want to look at something that is it's not easy to look at, or it's not easy to understand. If a 5-year-old can understand it, then definitely a 50-year-old can understand it. But if a 5-year-old cannot get it, trust me, a 50-year-old is not going to stress themselves trying to figure out that for themselves. No way. Because it has to make sense, right? It has to make sense. SENSE and CENTS. Those two have to come together. They got to be like a 5 and a 6. So thank you so much for that, John. Deolu, thanks for being here. Good afternoon. If you have a question, if you have a thought, please feel free to share with us. What's going on?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Hi, Favor. I want a quick one, yeah? Is it advisable to put a newsletter page on a website?
Great question. It's very important to put a newsletter page on your website if it's coming from the same domain. And it's also good to have an external link that takes you to an external site. So let's say you have resources, you have Substack, you have Medium, you have LinkedIn, you have other sources. You can put them there because you have operations outside the site, but it's equally as good to have a news article, blog, something on your website. Why? Because when I mentioned sitemaps earlier, there's something called a page sitemap. Now that page sitemap is where you see your home, your about, your contact, your other pages that are main pages. And then you have your post sitemap, which is now where you actually have the blogs or the articles or the newsletters. So it's very important to have these things there, because if you don't have them there, it's going to be hard for the algorithms to pick up on what your business is about, technically just because you want to have a website that people can find. So I'll ask you, Deolu, what do you do as a business and what would you be talking about within your newsletter so I can make sure it makes sense for your website setup?
Yes, I run and own an art gallery.
Okay, so within an art gallery, are there different types of art, like different, let's say, styles or themes or textures? Are there different things that you talk about within art? And then the different types of art as well?
Yes. So the newsletter could be a journal, yeah? on the like homepage, about us, contact, exhibitions. So the newsletter page could be journal, yes, like posts, yeah.
The newsletter is a page.
Yes.
And then the posts that are within the page is where the post sitemap comes in.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
So it's a little different, but the newsletter is like the parent or the patriarch. I can put it that way. And then below that, within the hierarchy, is now your different categories. So let's say you're talking about pastels, or you're talking about collage, or you're talking about, any types of art or any types of art form. Now, these different types of art are going to now tell you that, okay, this page, I'm just focusing on abstract art. And then it's /abstract art. So it's your website.com/category/abstract art. So if somebody clicks there, everything about abstract art is going to show up there. But if not, then it may be something else but that. So I want you to be able to see the differences between those two. Ducky, I'm coming to you next. So Deolu, when you look at your content, whatever you have on social media is going to be a reflection on your website, if you have any reflection from your website to your social media. So that's where your newsletter comes in. You can't just have a blog and just call it a day, but your blog has to match the aesthetics of your business by having categories and tags that match the search intent of the user, so that they also don't get confused, because a confused mind never buys as well. So I hope that makes sense, Deolu. Thank you. Appreciate you for that, Bell. Ducky, we'd love to hear from you too. Thanks for being here. Question, thoughts? What's coming to your mind? What's up?
I just walked in the room seeing what you guys all talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about broke business websites versus professional business websites and the differences between the two.
Most of the businesses are broke. Most of the business websites are broke.
Why? I'll tell you why I said that too, but why do you say that?
Because people just build a website. Number one, aesthetically, most of them look like shit because proper designers don't design them. People just design them without having all layout concepts. And number two, people don't do proper SEO, and people now use GEO and AEO, and they think that because they use these words, they know what they're doing without realizing old school proper SEO has AEO and GEO already installed within it.
Exactly. I was even mentioning, I was telling people here that 70% of the websites have problems with technical website SEO or technical SEO buildup compared to content, because everyone can build content now. Anybody can write a blog on ChatGPT or Manus or Cloud or Gemini. But when it comes to technical setup, that's where it falls behind the bar or falls behind the line.
Can you tell me what? So some websites are good, some websites are bad. But what is one aspect of a website that's mostly missing on most of the websites? You know? Anybody, come on, let's have some fun with this. Okay, schema.
Definitely schema markup. I thought my mic was open. Sorry, schema markup. And also not just schema markup. And for those who don't know what schema is just, I can say, an organized macro data way of explaining what the front page of a website is by describing it on the back end. So let's say you own a brick and mortar and you have a dental office, or you have a restaurant. Yeah, you have great food, you have great houses, you have great dentistry information. But if the schema markup, you can go to schema.org, that's schema.org. You can see that for yourself and read the documentation about it. So schema is definitely something that is underlooked, and I can say it's over analyzed for no reason, but people don't usually have that. And that's the one thing that misses a lot of people and actually distinguishes people from the other. Because if an AI bot or a search crawler or a traditional bot is going to look into those things, then it's going to be hard for you to actually find it if you don't have those things in place. So yeah, definitely that's what a lot of people are missing for sure.
So what it is, so what he said, what it is in simple terms, in layman terms, it's a data form. Like imagine I have an Excel spreadsheet letting search engines know what's on the web page. And one of the biggest mistakes people that do use schema, they have a full website schema, not an individual page schema. And the difference between having an individual page schema versus a full page schema, when you have individual page schema, your SEO becomes 1000% more accessible to search engines, meaning people can find you a lot easier based on individual page content versus generalized content in the front page.
Thank you, Ducky. That's a good one. I love that you brought that. I'm happy I'm not the only one talking about this, because it changes it when people hear it from other people. So it's not something you're getting familiar with me on, but this is an actual ABC metric. It's a 101 that needs to be discovered and also discussed too. Celeste, we'd love to hear from you too as well. What are your thoughts when it comes to schema and local SEO, or just anything general when it comes to business websites deciding whether their business is broke or pro?
Okay, so I'm late to the party. Hey everyone. Okay, I have a question about the title first. Are we talking broke like as far as just like money, or just like the back end, like, broke? What are we talking about?
Go ahead, Ducky, before I say what I
I
want to
was going to
say.
say, more likely is based on visual and workable, not money, because I can build you a website for $1,000 that other people will charge you $10,000 for. So it's more visual, workable, and optimizable.
Right, like broke,
Got
like
you.
it's like it needs fixing.
Okay, because in my day-to-day lingo, I use the former definition of broke. So I just wanted to clarify. And also, hi, Ducky. I haven't seen you in these rooms in a
What
while. Good to see you. Okay, so the hard part, what's funny is I was just talking to someone, was it yesterday or the day before? Long story short, this person had reached out to me in December of last year, like, hey, I need help. My business is struggling and blah, blah, blah. And I literally went through and gave her like a free mini website audit. And I'm like, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. Fast forward, I think it was yesterday, the day before, I see she posted on Facebook, oh, I'm still struggling. My business is slow. So I was like, oh, let me see, did she actually go and change the things that I recommended? Sure enough, I think I gave her 4 or 5 recommendations, 0 things she did. So I reached out and I was like, hey, I saw your status, but I also noticed you did not nan one of the things I told you to do. Like, what's up with that? And she's just like, oh, all these excuses, basically. And, so I gave her some resources. But the reality is, because I guess I'm going to speak to both, but the reality is a lot of small business owners don't have the quote unquote budget to hire someone to do these things. I understand it's not the cheapest thing on the inventory list, but you have to either invest money or time. There's no other option. You either have to invest money to outsource it or time to learn how to do it yourself. There's literally no other option. If you can't pick one or the other, then you're gonna really struggle in business. Me personally, when I was literally broke, right? Like I invested time. I took tons of classes and all business workshops and all the things. You can actually go on, if you're in the US, I don't know about abroad, you can go on to your county library's website and get on LinkedIn Learning for free. LinkedIn Learning has thousands and thousands of courses that you can take. A lot of them will give you a certificate, but you can take tons of courses on how to build a website, SEO, digital marketing, social media marketing, the list goes on and on. So I just kind of get frustrated sometimes, and maybe, I need to work on my empathy a little. Also, I'm driving, y'all, so if my service goes out, apologies. But I get frustrated when people, I've heard all these excuses in the book. Also, y'all, I'm someone who literally used to dig in my car for change on my lunch break. Like, I come from the struggle, and I still figured it out. I still invested time. I didn't have the money, time to learn all these things. So more of the story is, most people, they just throw shit on a website because they're like, oh, this is what I think, right? But when you're in business, you got to make data-driven decision. It doesn't matter what you think. What do your customers think? When they see a certain color, how does that make them feel? Did you actually research marketing psychology before you just Chat GPT the logo. Now, unfortunately, AI is really making things more complicated for people who don't want to invest time to learn basic marketing strategy. So I'll just leave it there. To me, that's the biggest difference between a broken one and a pro one. It's just people don't understand, the fundamentals of marketing. So hopefully that answers your question. I know that was a long one, but I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you, Celeste. You want to say
Can I go?
something,
Can I go? Can
Ducky?
I go? Can I go? Can I go? Yeah. Sorry, this is very excited to me because I, as much as I agree with some of the things you said, I disagree with a lot of the things you say. Right? Some of the things I disagree with you said that you have to invest a lot of money into it. Right? You don't. And what I mean by that is, yes, you have to invest money into it, but there's agencies such as myself. If you look deep and you take the time to look into it, we'll charge you a monthly fee. Like, for example, I have packages. Well, I'll quote you on a website, let's say $5,000-$6,000, and we can go with $100 to $200 a month for how many years to sustain that website. And after so many years, your yearly maintenance and hosting fee will just be that, and the website will be paid off. Like I do in-house financing to help companies. And if you're a business that doesn't have $200 to spend on a website, then you shouldn't be in business. So that means like we don't have anything. You just have hopes and dreams, and you don't have the will to gain clients. And if you're not making money, you're not in business. And $200 a month is not that much to sustain something that's going to bring you in thousands, right? And so to me, it's not necessarily about what you have, what you don't have. It's what you're willing to do, and that's why I agree with you on.
Ducky, you got me thinking about this. Some people would rather spend $200 on running ads than maintaining it.
You know what the biggest problem with ads is? People run fucking ads, but they do not have a fucking foundation. And all they're doing is the money's going down the drain because, yeah, you have a nice ad, people click on it, but your website looks like garbage, or you don't have a website, and it's just like, and then what? Like, there's no one to see anything. It's like you run an ad and people go into an empty space going, where the fuck are the shoes? Why would I buy from them? And then another one of the biggest problems is another one of the biggest problems. I have a lot of one of the biggest problems. So don't mind me. Is people think their websites look good, and they have no concept. And a lot of designers have no concept of designs. There's a lot of designers that are just designers, and they became designers because they fucking learned WordPress or how to use Wix, and never ever build a website on Wix. Never ever. And if you're on Wix, either hire a new web designer or leave this room. Sorry, I'm not the moderator, but
Hey,
don't.
my
Love the
website's on
passion.
Wix and it does
Leave out.
$1,000 through that website. So don't knock it.
Oh, I'm knocking Wix. I'm knocking Wix. I'm stepping on it. I'm glad you're making money off of it, but you're.
Money.
Yeah, but you're still fucking yourself because you don't know what you could have had.
I'm gonna disagree with you on that, but continue.
Well, but see, because you're seeing the 30,000.
For this, is that okay? Because
Okay,
I know
go
we're
for it.
having a little
Go.
back and forth. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Ducky, have you ever been on food stamps? Have you ever been on social services?
Well, how about this? I was never on food stamps, but I grew up in a communist country where I was in a situation where I should have gotten food stamps, but my country didn't have food stamps. And if you went to the grocery store at 10 in the morning and there was no more bread left, you're fucked. You had no food. So imagine food stamps, and food stamps was like living in Beverly Hills.
Oh, okay. The reason why I asked is because you're like, oh, if you don't have money, you shouldn't start a business. I think the hard part about especially just general conversations, that a lot of words kind of mean different things to different people. So when you say like, oh, it doesn't cost a lot of money, well, to someone who, doesn't have bread, as you put it, or maybe they're on food stamps, $200 a month is a lot of money to them. And like I said before, I come from the real struggle. When I started my business, I did not have $200 a month to outsource to someone to make me a website. So once again, you gotta pick a side. If you don't have money, you have to invest time. I personally believe that if you have time to learn something, you can do anything. I don't care if you want to fly an airplane across the country. If you have time to invest to learn, you can do it. Like, that's just my kind of TED talk to people out there who don't have the money. But I think the problem is people want to say, oh, I don't feel like, taking a class. Oh, I don't have time for a class. But they also don't have the money. So then they're messed up on both sides. That to me is the biggest challenge that I see with a lot of small business owners who are financially, not prepared to invest in outsourcing a lot of things. So I just wanted to add that in. I think me and you were kind of on the same page, Ducky, but again, our words, mean different things to us. So that's all I wanted to say.
And I appreciate that. I do agree with you on that, right? I gave a general number. That's why I said $100, $200. What I meant is you can find agencies that you can work with that will help you finance your business for a minimum amount, right? Because not all websites are $5,000, $6,000, and it's just really depending on what you need and how it's structured, right? That's more on the basis of just giving a jump. But yes, I agree with you 100%, right? But the thing is, it's depending what kind of business are we starting here, right? So that's why we have to generalize, and when people are not per se understanding what the words or seeing the words differently, it's always good to clarify and come up and ask questions, or state what you just stated, which could clear things up, right? But what I meant for a regular business that is opened up, has an LLC, and starts, a website, and a lot of people, and a lot of these businesses that could afford the $200 a month, could afford $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to build a website. They don't, because they don't see a priority in it. They don't realize it's their image, right? And the way I look at it is, your website is like walking down the street and you have your storefront. Your social media is the windows to your storefront. So what kind of business do you have, and what do you actually need? What kind of social media do you need? What kind of marketing do you need? Every business has different needs. Like right now, I have a painting one of my friends, a painting company, and his social media is 3 times a week, or twice a week now, and that's all he needs, is to just say to the world, hey, I still exist. But he's got so much work that he doesn't care or doesn't need it. He's got a crew of, I think, 15 or 20 guys, and he's busy every day, all day, right? So for him to spend money on marketing is fucking pointless. But you have a person that's selling t-shirts online, well, that's a different story. Now you gotta post every single day, a couple of times a day. You have to have a proper structured WooCommerce website, or a shopping website through whoever host you feel most comfortable with, right? So that's what I was going to do in that. But problem with Wix, yes, you're making lots of money, and I'm stoked for you. The biggest problem with Wix, they own you. They use shared hosting, where it slows you down with being properly shown.
Ducky, before you continue, define slow.
When you go to Google PageSpeed, put your URL in, and out of 100, what is your mobile speed? That's the most important. And what is your desktop speed? Right? So it just shows you how fast your website loads, how fast your servers are. And when your numbers are not over 80, 90 out of 100, Google will push you to the back end to show you off, no matter how good your SEO, AO, GEO is, or any other indexing platform.
Okay, I wanted you to clarify that for the people who probably don't know what that means. So, another thing too, before we wrap up today, because I know this is a lot of information and I don't want to overload you guys with this, but when you start thinking about budgets, especially with businesses, if you've worked with small businesses, enterprise, Fortune 500 companies, what I've come to see is that businesses, more likely than not, this is not a standard figure or a standard rule of thumb, but if you're working with a company or business, or if you're in that type of business and you're making anywhere from whatever amount of money you're making through in a year, most businesses usually put about 1 to 10% of their annual revenue into marketing, whether that's digital, whether that's websites, whether it's SEO, whatever it is. Let's say you make $1 million a year and you put 1%, that's $10,000 a year you're putting into maintenance or putting into a website. Whatever that number is, it's up to you to decide. I can't tell you what to do with your money, but when you start looking at those ranges, it's good for you to understand and say, okay, I'm making $100,000 a year. Do I have 1% to put down? Do I have 10% to put down? Yes or no? If I don't, maybe I can wait. Because some businesses think that they can do it until there's a problem. It's like saying you're driving a car and then this car breaks down and then your mechanic tells you it's going to take you $10,000 to fix. Are you going to keep driving that car on the highway, or are you going to leave that car in the garage or leave that in the mechanic shop? It's up to you. So it depends on how your priority is and what you really want out of this website. And if it's making you the money like it's making Celeste, and somebody else could be on a terrible site and it's making them buku breads of money, fine. By the end of the day, you're going to have to revamp. You have to fix. You have to renovate, because websites don't just stick there. You have to keep making sure that they're maintained as well. So people use websites for different reasons. But if you're able to use this website and it's making you the money, great. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But some people try to fix everything when there's really no problem to fix, because they feel like somebody said something somewhere and now they have a problem and they're having heart palpitations. And no, you don't want that stress, because every single time something happens, something's going to change. But if you focus on what is working and connect and give people what they ask for, then fine. Give people what they want, and then after, give them what they need, right? You don't just go to a place and say, oh, I need SEO. What about SEO do you need? Is it local? Is it franchise? Is it off? Is it on? Is it technical? What is it? That way you're able to understand exactly the mechanics of what things are happening around, because you're not going to know these things. I don't know science. I don't know politics. I don't know geography. I don't know forensics, but somebody does, and somebody knows better than me. You know something better than me than I do, but we both know something that we can both help each other on. So the idea is not just to look at your website and say, oh, it's broken or something is wrong. Ask yourself, am I getting the sales I'm supposed to? Am I reaching the people I'm supposed to? Am I even visible to my neighbor? If I'm not, then that's where you have to figure out and fix those things as well. So there's a lot of things to discuss with SEO, but today I wanted to just break it down and say, okay, do you have a broken website? That's why I haven't changed the title of the room, because people think broken. They're like, oh, broke. No, you're not broke. It's a broken site. Broke in the sense of, if it's broken and you don't have the money to fix it, then are you going to spend time fixing it, or are you just going to spend time around the roses trying to figure it out? So that's really dependent on you as well. Ducky, yes.
So if you PTR, meaning pull to refresh, you'll see in my screenshot what Google page speed will show you for a good running website.
Yes, and they actually introduced something new as well for AI as well. I don't see that on yours, but
GEO.
No, not GEO specifically. I'm talking about there are other new parameters that have been added to this performance, to the accessibility, best practice, and SEO. Those are the traditional ones, but there are new ones that have also come out too. But I don't think it's rolled out officially, but it's also available to people too. But I see what you're talking about, and that's what Ducky is talking about, guys. Just look at his PTR
So what
as
that's
well.
going to do is, this is from about 4 or 5 weeks ago, from a client's website when I was having a conversation on Clubhouse about, is if Google doesn't, in mobile, mobile is the most important. The reason is mobile searches your website's mobile page speed, and that's all it considers. Because 80% of users right now looking through websites are on mobile. And if Google doesn't have these results and it's under 90, it's not going to want to index you in their search engine. It's going to be like, whatever. This person is not maintaining their website. This page is not fast enough. They don't care for it. why would I not put this? Why would I put this on top of the page or on first page or anywhere near the top? Because these people don't care about their websites, we won't care to put it in technically. That's what Google's AI automatically determines.
Thank you, Ducky. I love that. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's why even on the page insights or the page speed insights, they put mobile first and then they put desktop to the right of it, which makes sense. They could have done desktop mobile, but they did mobile desktop. So it even shows you in priority, even if it's not telling you by priority, it shows you what exactly people are looking for more than the other. But that doesn't mean desktop is bad or tablet is bad, but you think about where people are connecting with. Like here on Clubhouse, a lot of us are using our phones. Some people might be using their desktops. Some people might be using their tablets, but majority are using their mobile phones. So we have to think about those things and ask ourselves these questions. How are we using our websites and how are we using them in a correct way to build more connections online that actually make sense and are not just convoluted between different types of keywords? What's up, Mo Dub? How you doing, man? We'd love to hear from you. Thoughts, comments, questions. Feel free.
What's up, brother? Been a while. Hey, that's John, Ducky, Diolu. Is that how you say that? All right, well, I apologize if I messed it up. So what are we talking about, brother? What do you need to tip on?
I'll ask you this because I know you're good on copy. When people have websites, especially professional websites or broken websites, what do you normally tell them for their business to gain clarity so that they're not just focusing on the technical, but also on the performance and the retention model?
The first thing I'm going to tell you when it comes to your content and getting clarity is to make sure that you realize your content has two purposes. Right? Number one, to attract the people that you want. Number two, to repel the people that you don't. Right? That's the first thing. So if you're talking my language, or if you're trying to be safe, let me back up a little bit. Trying to be safe and be down the middle is a great way to piss everybody off, right? Because you're not speaking to them. You're speaking to whoever, right? You speak to one person with one target in mind, one problem in mind, and that one solution in mind, right? And you just hammer that, right? Whatever their problem is, whatever their solution is, that's what you speak to, right? That's how you gain clarity, right? You know, trying to be unambiguous or not piss anybody off is what's going to piss everybody off, right? So that's number one, right? Your content has two purposes: attract the people that you want, repel the people that you don't, right? That's the first thing you want to do. I also want to say, when it comes to gaining clarity, be more action oriented. Lead with verbs and adverbs, right? For example, quickly learn how to build a business that wins in 2026, right? Lead with, and the reason why you want to lead with action is because all of your content has a CTA at the end, right? A call to action. So if your copy is action oriented, you're priming them to take that action at the end, whether it's to, follow you on Facebook, or, subscribe to your YouTube channel, or download your lead magnet, enroll in your course. Those are the things that you want, that action in mind that you have in the end. If you're just showing them action, action, action at the top of each sentence, at the top of each paragraph, or whatever. And the paragraph part is also where you gain the clarity, right? My favorite tip for people is to use the people also ask section in Google, right? So whatever question you put in Google, scroll down maybe a quarter of the way down the page. If you got to go that far, you'll see a section that says people also ask. In your content, answer those questions and use those questions as the headline to the paragraph, right? Because now you show Google that you're relevant because people are asking these questions, and also, it's going to draw more visibility to you, and it's clear, right? People are asking this question. Google is telling you that people are asking this question. So now if you provide that answer, you're automatically positioning yourself as that subject matter expert. So that's just a few quick tips that you can do right now that's going to level up your content to where you need it to be, right? And then once you start practicing that and get better at that, and your content quality, right? So there's two things that you want to keep in mind when you're building your content, right? Content quality and content velocity, right? Content quality is pretty self-explanatory. Um, how good your content is compared to your competitors, right? And then you also have the content velocity, which has to do with how fast you can put that content out, right? So content quality, content velocity is the two things you need to pay most attention to get where you need to be. And with that, I'll go ahead and close the mic. This is Mo Dub, and I'm out.
Thank you, Modub. Actually, you got me thinking about this, and with your permission, it would be great for us to talk about that specifically, what you just said, content quality versus content velocity. Because some people are doing one blog a week, one blog a month, one page a day, one update a month, one maintenance per year, and then they think something's going to change. But those things definitely play a big role. And guys, before I come into this room again, if you want us to talk about this, put a 1 in the chat if you want us to talk about content quality versus content velocity. Just put a 1 in the chat, because I think it's going to strike a lot of nerves. It's going to give people a lot of things to think about. And then they'll ask themselves, what is my current process? What is the next type of process I want to get into? And how can we get that done in a way that actually helps more people too? So that's something I definitely would think about as well. So guys, if you can type, if you're not driving, put a 1 in the chat. If you're not driving, that is. If you are, then don't type. Focus on your driving or focus on what you're doing right now, because some people are listening in and are not able to type. But if you're able to type, put a 1 in the chat, and 1 is enough for me to know that something of a sample like that is important for people to know. So love that you said that, Mo Dub. Thank you so much for bringing that in too as well. And Dolly put a 1 in the chat as well. So Austin put a 1 too. All right. So yeah, we'll definitely bring that in as well, because I feel like that's going to help a lot of people understand it, because even the quality of content is determined by the structure of the content. Because you can have quality content, you can have a quality song, you can have a quality movie, but if the script is not done correctly, if the angles are not pointed correctly, if you're not able to have continuation across the line, if you don't have internal links, external links, FAQs, things that allow people to understand more, TLDR, too long, don't read, then yeah, there's going to be a lot of issues or friction that's going to be in the pipeline. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. Thank you for bringing that up, Mo. Appreciate you, and welcome back, Celeste. So guys, there's a difference between a broken website for business and a professional website for business. There are things you've heard today. There's some things you've probably never heard before, or there's some things that you want to hear more of. This is the time to make sure that you can create those experiences for yourself. If you want more information like this, click the link above, book a call with me. Let's talk about your website. Let's talk about your SEO. If you just want to learn about it in general, then click the link as well, so you can now join our newsletter and we can talk about this, and you can get emails like this that will help you understand them better, because some people learn by listening, which actually acquires about 5% of retainer. If you can teach somebody else what you've learned, that's about 90% of acquisition. If you can listen to something like you're listening today, that's 5% learning acquisition. There's a whole road down that pipeline. So you can listen to something once, twice, 3 times. It may not make sense. But if you keep trying it and doing it on your own, or doing it with somebody or helping you do it with an accountability partner, then eventually it's going to make more sense over time. So it's just about being more structural, being more tactical, and being more specific and meticulous with how you want people to learn about you online. There's a platform called Google Learn About. Just Google it. It's called Google Learn About. Just go on Google and type in Google Learn About, and you're going to see it. And ask that Learn About platform about your business, about your brand, whether it's a business brand or a personal brand, and it will tell you everything that you need to know. That way you're able to understand, okay, I see what's going on here. I see what we need to focus on. So these are things that you have to think about as a business, and don't just ignore the signs. When you ignore the red flags, one day it's going to come back and bite you, and you don't want that to happen. You want to be focused, you want to be helpful, and you want to make sure that your content is not just doing it for doing sake. You want to have the right information that you need to get the right people that can actually come back to you as well. So before we go, I want to start off with you, Ducky. Last point, what do you want people to know? Give them your final takeaway. Then we come to you, Deolu, then Mo, then Celeste, and then John. So Ducky, over to you.
Well, the biggest thing I want you to know is when you're hiring a developer, designer, marketing person, figure out the questions you really want to know. Ask and don't listen to what you want to hear, listen to what they have to say. Talk to the person that you have synergy with. Don't listen to sales. And one of the examples I'll give you, I was sitting down with a client about 2 weeks ago, and he asked me, for your marketing, why should I hire you? What results can you provide me or guarantee me? I'm like, I can't guarantee you any results. I'm like, I can tell you exactly what I'm going to do for marketing and the things that you're going to get for what you're going to pay for, but I cannot drag a person into your shop. He goes, are you serious? So why are we sitting here? And I looked at him like, you called me for a meeting. I didn't call you for a meeting. We're sitting here because you asked for me. So now I can give you historical data of what the potentials are, but that's not a guaranteed number that you're going to get from your marketing campaigns when it comes to sales conversions. So either you want the truth or you want me to bullshit you. Let me know if you want to continue with me. And the guy literally hired me just because I was straightforward and understand that when you're getting historical data based on return on investment for marketing campaigns, it's historical data. Because nobody's going to force anybody to click on a marketing campaign and have a conversion.
Thank you, Ducky. Yeah, you got to ask the right questions, and you got to know the questions that are being responded to, especially with website developers and SEO. Those are two different things. We're dealing with a client right now, and they have a .net and a .com. I just got access to their hosting platform, and they're on WordPress, yes, with Elementor, but their second platform or the second site that so whoever built the website is pointing to a completely different server, and now that is convoluting the whole aspect of the servers because they have their Google Search Console verified, but they don't have ownership of that access. So I'm like, who did it? Was it you or was it the team? And she said it was a team, and I'm like, can you contact the team? She can, but it's like it's like you're fighting tooth and nail. And I'm like, no, this is things that you need to handle first. Even by the time you're building a website first, the first thing is to have your hosting, have your domain, have your website in place so that when the website is built, it's on your server. Because a lot of people are paying third-party platforms for servers and for hosting, which by all means, I'm not going to knock your business. But if it gets to a point where there's problems or there are errors, it's going to play a big role. It happened to one of the websites that we built for a client, and they forgot to renew the subscription. So the website went down. So we had to literally open a ticket because the person that was supposed to maintain the website forgot to pay what they were paid for. So all these horror stories are I can say unavoidable completely, but it depends on what you know. And some people are just paying away or buying away or investing away, not knowing exactly what they're paying for. So it's important to think about these things so that you don't get scammed, you don't get blindsided, because these things keep happening. And if you're not knowing these things, it might be down the drain that you're like, oh, okay, maybe I should have done this better this way. But it's never too late to understand. Like the more you know, the more you don't know. So it's good to think about those things long term. Thank you, Ducky. Deolu, what about you? Last takeaways. What are your final thoughts for the room?
Oh, very good actually. I managed to join today, and I put a one in the chat. And looking forward to the next session. Thank you, Favor. Thank you all.
Thank you, Deolu. Thanks for being here. Mo, what about you? Final takeaway.
Yeah, I'm on my final way. I'm going to ask everybody in the room a question, right? And it's a very important question. I want you to think about it and be ready with your homework when Favor comes back with the content velocity and content quality room. When you think about you and your business, what grows faster, your confidence or your doubts? Right? Your confidence or your doubts, which grows faster within you? And so with that, I'm going to close the mic. And thanks for bringing me up, brother.
Appreciate you, Mo. Thank you for always being here as well with us on the app. Celeste, over to you. Final takeaway.
My final takeaway, I have two. So first of all, what I really love about this room in particular is me and Ducky. Although we had, a little difference of opinion, we were able to have a respectful dialogue. That's something that I hope most people observed and can apply, because all too often on Clubhouse, I see crazy situations develop just because people disagree. We can disagree and do it respectfully. So I really appreciate that dialogue, Ducky. And I really do miss seeing you in the room. So come back, my friend. And then the last thing, listen, I have a big heart for my strugglepreneurs. I know y'all can hear when I talk about like, I came from this struggle and I used to dig for change in my car. Those are real stories. And so, when I hear new business owners struggle when it comes to where to invest, how to invest, should they invest, I get it. I understand. But again, I'm going to reemphasize, money isn't always a solution. Sometimes it is time. Sometimes it is prioritizing, hey, instead of me watching this Netflix show, I'm going to go online and take a course. Now more than ever on the digital landscape, there are so many free resources, like so many, okay? So I just, want to encourage all of y'all who are strugglepreneurs, like just because you don't have the money, don't let that be the end of the sentence. Let it be a comma, all right? But what are you going to do about it, okay? So go out, invest some time to learn how to do things, not just throw stuff up, guess how to do it. Go and invest into yourself by learning. Your mind is a muscle, and I truly believe that with time and the right strategy, you can learn how to do anything. Okay, so thank you so much, Favor, for the room.
Thank you for being here, Celeste. Appreciate you. And yes,
Appreciate you.
yes, sir. Thank you, Ducky. Mo said, what? I missed the fight between Celeste and Ducky. Let me go to the replay. You listen to it. It's not, I would call it a constructive argument and not a destructive argument, because you can have a colorful conversation or a distasteful conversation. So it's really up to you to know where to draw the line, and also do it with respect, because we want to respect each other in the room, and everybody's opinion is important because everybody's opinion matters. So nobody's right, nobody is wrong. We're not trying to fight over the other. We want to make sure that we can have, at the end of the day, something has been achieved and the next task is being, I can say, milestoned, if I can put it that way, and checked off the list. So thank you, Celeste, for that.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, Mo, have you ever seen? It's usually girls who fight like this, where they're fighting but no punches are connecting. That was the fight that we had. Nothing exciting.
Wow. Okay, I'm sorry. You know what? I was just being nice.
Oh, good, Ducky. I love you.
I love Clubhouse. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. John, what about you? Final takeaway.
Yeah, the final takeaway I would give is if you are selling something, and look at your click to conversion ratio. If your conversion ratio is above 2%, you're probably doing pretty good. If it's way below that, your traffic is not responding to your website. So really take a good hard look. Look at your analytics, look at the insights, look at the information that's available for free, and check it out. And there's really no excuse for, if you're in business, there's really no excuse for not doing your homework and doing things you can do. And no matter where you're starting from, you can learn more as you go along. So thank you very much, Favor.
Thank you, John. That was a good one. Thank you for saying that too. You reminded me, yes, the average click-through rate for websites is at 2.2% across all industries. And you can do your research, guys. Please, 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 please do your research. I beg you, do your research, because I don't want you to just listen to things and just go home and just call it a day. Do your research so that you also know exactly what you're dealing with, and also ask yourself, am I hitting those marks? It's just a benchmark for you to attain. And then you ask yourself, how can I get to that point, or how am I not getting to that point, and what do I need to fix? So I appreciate you for that, John. My takeaway for you guys is that decide what you want to do with your websites. Do you want to keep suffering your websites, or do you want to scale your websites? You're either going to suffer it or you're going to scale it. And there are two platforms I told you guys in the beginning of the room to check. I'll actually add a third. The first website is go to siteliner.com, SITELINER.com. The second one is gtmetrics.com, GTMETRIX.com. And you could also go to nslookup.io, nslookup.io. Those 3 websites will tell you a lot of things that you probably don't know about your site. And from there, you can decide, okay, we're good, we're in the red, we're not so good. How do we fix that? You can also check your domain health with NSLookup, and you can see whether you're compliant as well, especially if you're a business that sends out emails and you're wondering why your click rates are not working or your click-through rates are not going through. That's going to be one of the reasons that you can find out as well. So just wanted to share this with you guys, and a lot of people are in the room. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you that have a ticket. This is a marketing club. We have over 355,711 members in here. And a lot of people come here for business. They come here to understand marketing. And if you're in business, if you're learning marketing, this is the place to be. We talk about rooms like this on a consistent basis. So if you have a pink ticket, make sure you cash in your ticket, because now I'm even using the house chat even more. Because in the house chat, I'm able to put in the links so you guys can be able to be here and don't miss out on information like this. So until then, God bless you guys. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourselves. I hope you guys are doing well. Good to see you as well. Dr. Fashion, Terika, Brandon, Mizanur, Sexy, Chimanik, Coach, A-Hope, Ishman, Austin, Tiffany, Vernell, Luan. I see you, Vicky, Cameron. Good to see you. Delia, Raj, Saleh, Tyron, Nastaran, Osvaldo, Egugum, Son, the Sadaf, Ebby, April, Chris, Shuka, and John. You guys are all appreciated. And April says, A-Hope says, I need to be here. Yes, please be here. Be part of us. We are a great family. We're people who care about each other, and we do things to help. We don't do things to criticize or to put you down, because that's not going to help anybody anywhere. That's a lose-lose statement. So I hope you guys learned something new. And if you have any questions, please always reach out to me. Click on my face, listen to the replay, and we'll definitely be back again with more rooms like this. So until we meet again, take care, stay out of trouble, stay hydrated, stay blessed, and I'm going to see you guys in the next room. Bye for now. Welcome to season 13, where you listen, you live, you learn, and you earn. A lot of information is always given on this show. So we're in the 13th season. God has brought us so far, and I just want to thank God for the opportunity to connect with you today on such quiet, calm space like this. So thank you for listening. Know that Jesus loves you, and know that you can always connect with me on the We Don't Play podcast show. More specifically, go to wedon'tplaypodcast.com, or you can go to playinc.online. That is PLAYINC.online, and get in touch with me. Let's get on a call. Let's talk. Let's focus on SEO for 2026 and beyond. So until we meet in the next episode, God bless you. Jesus loves you. Stay hydrated, stay safe, and stay blessed, and stay tuned. Bye for now.